Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm doing another one of these. Um, I might sound a little stuffy. I just had a massive allergy attack right before I started this, so I figured I'd warn you now before anything else goes on. So how's everybody doing? It is March 16th. Golly, I cannot believe we're halfway through the month. Um, yeah, I decided to come down and talk a little bit. Today, I'm going to talk about. Today, I wanted to talk about spiritual awakenings. I actually just saw a. Well, it's been a thing that's kind of been progressing for the past couple weeks. This whole that was my dog making noise. I don't know if you heard that or not, but it's been a several different things over the past couple weeks have kind of come around to this whole spiritual awakening. How we've been talking about different people that have been opening up to the new possibilities of the world, and the things that we know and the things that we don't know, and we're waking up to the. I like to call it the lie of the world, but I don't like telling that to other people because there's something ingrained in our heads that when we hear that we've been lied to, we automatically shut down about it. It's like, oh no, I haven't been lied to. I'm smart enough to know the truth, and I understand that. I get that because I was there. I was that kind of person. It took me a long while to figure out that, you know, oh, they're lying to me. No matter what everybody else says, this is actually a thing. They're lying to me. Because you'll have people say, well, don't believe that person. That's just bullshit. And then you'll have other people that say, no, 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 that this is a real thing. And it's always that there's so few people telling you that they want to tell you the truth, and then there's so many people that are telling you this other thing that when it contradicts it, it's like, oh, I don't know if I can, I don't know if I want to pay attention to that. I don't know if I want to be a part of that. Sorry, my nose. but but when you go through that, you get cognitive dissonance. That's your world, your worldview, the way that you have known your world for as long as you have. That's your idea of what things are, fighting against anything that anybody's telling you. It's like it's the whole thing about 1 plus 1 equals 3. We know that's not true. And if somebody told you that, your cognitive dissonance will say, no, that's not right. You know, and somebody might say, no, listen, it really is. And it's, no, it's not right. Now, of course, that's a really bad example because we can see that. But what if you lived in a world where 1 plus 1 equals 3, and there was somebody that was screaming at you that 1 plus 1 equals 2, and you've grown up your entire life thinking, well, 1 plus 1 equals 3. It's just the way it is. 1 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus 3 would equal 4, I guess. Something like that. Something weird. Imagine living in that world. That's crazy. But you've lived in that world for so long that somebody's trying to tell you the truth. It's like, no, 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 no. I have one here and I have one here. That's 2. That's not 3. That's 2. So for you, that cognitive dissonance would be fighting it the entire time until you would open your mind up to it and go look at it, and you would see, oh wait, they were right. 1 plus 1 does equal 2, and everybody else is saying 3, and it starts cracking your mentality of the universe. Is what it does. Now, sorry again if I'm sniffling my nose, man. I just took a shower and I came down here and I gotta wash. I got sheets on the couch and I gotta wash them because they're getting nasty. But this dog hair too. Yeah, the dog. but it's that cognitive dissonance. It breaks you down. It really does. And I've talked about this before about how my mind has cracked in half seeing the things that I've seen, um, and understanding the world that it is today. And I'm sure that there's somebody that can say, well, it's just because you're just listening to the wrong things. You're just seeing it in a different way, and it doesn't have to be like that. And that may be. I cannot trust my mind anymore. I really cannot. We've kind of talked about that as well. That when this whole Mandela effect thing happened, and I'm either misremembering it or it's really changed for me. Now, either way, that's cracked my brain in half because I can't trust my brain. It was Angie B and I were talking about it the other day about movies that had messed with your minds. And we went through the list of the game changers. Because what were we watching? We were watching some weirdy ass movie, some new Terry Gilliam thing that I have to do this, guys. Sorry. Sorry, I had to do that. But some new Terry Gilliam movie within the past couple years had Jeff Bridges in it, and the girl from Silent Hill. I want to say Landslide or Tide something. I don't know what it was, man. It was weird. It was a messed up ass movie. I feel dirty for watching it. I really do because it was just weird. So we were talking about those movies that changed the way you look at everything. The movies that really cracked you out of reality and just kind of blew your brain. My biggest one was always Seven. That one cracked my mind pretty hard. That was like, wow. And then of course from Seven you could get. I was just thinking about it too. No, I can't. I can't think about it. Oh, that sucks. But like Pulp Fiction, Pulp Fiction changed. Pulp Fiction changed the way we look at movies. Period. It changed the way that you were thinking about movies. You move forward to like Fight Club. Fight Club kind of put a lot of things in perspective that you can't trust your brain. What happens when you go to sleep? Because I've had times, uh, several times, usually under medication, unfortunately, that I've woken up in just this weird situations. There was one night that I was fighting a really really bad case of, I think it was poison oak or poison ivy, something. It was on my leg and it was hurting. It was like my whole leg was throbbing. And my mom gave me some of her pain medicine, and I had a cold at the time too. It was bad. It was just like my whole life just sucked. So I took some NyQuil and I took that pain medicine. And when I woke up, I had my shoes, which I usually left in the front room, way in the front of the trailer I used to live in. I had my shoes up next to me in the bed, and they were tied, like they were put together, and they were tied, like I had actually, tied the shoes. And I had my little 6-inch Rambo knife sitting in my hand underneath the pillow when I woke up, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? It was one of those types of things. So I've always had that kind of worry that, what's going on when I go to sleep. Man, that's crazy. It's nuts. It's crazy talk. It's crazy. I'm gonna see if I can get some lights. Any better? I don't know. I need some actual lights. Because I probably need to turn on a PlayStation or something. Let's see what I can do here. Of course. Of course. I would have the wrong thing suited up. Damn it. I blow my nose again. You know that? See this? So, guys, just hold on a second. I feel better now. I really do. That's a little better. I get some light on me. Not that you guys need to see, because yeesh. I'm actually cleaned up. I thought I was going to work this week, but I didn't. They held it off until this coming week. So Monday, I'm actually going to work for the first time in like a month and a half, which is it's going to be nice. Actually, getting money back in my pocket. But anyways, yeah, we were going through the stuff that cracked your mind, and it started making me think about what can you trust, and then it led me into this whole thing about the cognitive dissonance, because Angie B is slowly waking up. I'm slowly waking her up. She understands. She gets it. I mean, she actually went on a tirade with me. I wish I would have recorded it. I mean, it was so beautiful. It was absolutely amazing how she was going on and on about NASA and losing the telemetry data about the moon and why we never went back and all this other kind of stuff, and this, it's not like it's conspiracy theory stuff. This isn't. This actually happened. Somebody said they lost like 19,000 pounds worth of reel-to-reel tape data telemetry from the moon. That's real stuff. That they don't know where it went. They say that they just recorded over it because they needed the tapes. Okay, that's fine, but like the greatest achievement in the history of mankind, plus the fact that you guys, even back then, were making like $1 billion a year, you couldn't just buy more tapes. But the one that pisses me off whenever I hear them talk about it was how we don't have those tapes, and even if we had the tapes, we don't have the technology to be able to play them. Don't give me that, man. Don't give me that crap. Come on now. But she went on this whole thing, and she's her eyes are being opened. She's understanding. She's getting to that point where she's understanding, and she's starting to see the lies. She's starting to pull away from. I'm not going to say the world, but you tend to pull away from mainstream media. You tend to pull away from entertainment things. You tend to pull away from things that are just going to set you back on the path. They're just entertainment, and all this other kind of stuff are kind of there just to, at least in my eyes, they're just kind of there to keep you passive, maybe indoctrinate you a little bit. You got pre-programming stuff in a lot of this, little things like that, which is what I've been kind of going through the past couple weeks. I just haven't been wanting to watch anything besides just reality stuff. Even if it's reality stuff that goes against the stuff I'm thinking about now. Because again, I like to say that I want to hear both sides of each story, whether it's the flat Earth stuff or the Tartaria stuff or the pyramids stuff, the giants, because we've been talking about giants. Any of it. I've been wanting to kind of hear both sides. So that's, no matter what it is, I want to hear both sides just to see what one thing can tell me and one thing doesn't. And, there's been pretty compelling arguments on both sides. I'll tell you what. One anti-flat Earth video is not going to convince me. I'm sorry. The guy that I was watching, I already said I have a problem with people that they want to call each other idiots, like it's some kind of cult. Which that was something that came up in a video I saw too, where this guy wanted to absolutely say, well, if you morons can't see this because you're a moron, because you can't understand that this is the way it is because you're a moron. Okay, well then I'm not watching you, because everything you're going to say from that point on is just crap, because I can't listen to that. I can't listen to you, even if it's on the other side, even if it's on the side I want to listen to. If they're going to say that the Globetards want to say this, if you're a moron, you can't see it. It's like, no, man. just tell it to me straight, brother. Just tell it to me straight. Just because that's the way I came into it. I came into it straight. Somebody just said, "Hey, look, you can see this from this far away, and you shouldn't be able to." And that got me. That's what got me in the end. Look at me with the nose. Ah, that's terrible. That's terrible. Just take some Benadryl. Holy smokes! But yeah, you can't just sit there and do that, and it doesn't. That's not how you convince anybody to do anything. I'm not going to tell you you're an idiot. I'm not going to tell you you're crazy. I'm going to ask you that if you're watching this, and if you're even remotely interested in even half the words I'm saying, then all I ask you to do is just listen to me. I would honestly rather sit somebody down in front of me and talk to them instead of trying to do something like this, or trying to do you know text something to somebody, or message something to somebody. Who was it? I think it was a dream or something that I had where I was trying to talk to somebody about something, and AGB had said, well, you can message them or something like that, and tell them this and tell them that. And I was like, I would rather just have them here, or I would rather go to some place where we can sit down and I can have a face to face. And I think it was a dream. I think it's what it was. I had these people face to face, and I was talking to them, and I was saying, this is this, that's that. You don't have to believe me if you don't want to. And that's been the whole thing about it, is that, especially on these, I usually start with, you don't have to believe me if you don't want to, because this is some way out fringy stuff. I got blow my nose again. I'm about to sneeze. I hope you guys got that on camera. I don't think you did. I'm sure my face was ugly. Wow. Oh. Yeah, I don't. I need to wash some stuff down here. That's my dog's head right there. That's her head because I sneezed and she got all freaked out about it. You're all right, baby. Yeah, you're all right. But I going back to that, I always say, you don't have to blame me if you don't want to. It you're either going to see it or you're not going to see it, or you just flat out won't see it. And I've explained that a couple times, because this is the way it is, because it's that cognitive dissonance, because we all have it, because when it's told to you one day after another after another after another from the day you're born, you're going to believe it because you haven't seen it for yourself. And you grow up thinking that. And it's so deep ingrained in your head that you hold on to that. You want to grasp onto that and hold on to that and not pull away from it at all. And I absolutely understand that because I was there again, But I've over the years, I'm guessing because of just the way I have been, the person that I am, I I think I'm more open to it. I guess I've just had just one of those. I don't want to say I've had one of those lives. You'll never understand unless you had the life I had. No, I don't want to say that. It's more of a. I've always been open to different possibilities because of the events that have happened in my life, the things that have changed me over the years. Uh, Hold on a second. This is stupid. Hopefully that's the last one. I'm hoping that's the last one. Ah, yeah, my nose is really getting me. It's starting to be that time of year too. I mean, it's the middle of March. The furnace is starting to turn off a little bit more. We're starting to open the doors. Not that there's like any pollen or anything out there because there's the trees are still dead. Everything is still dead, but it's getting to that point to where it's getting kicked up because we're moving around a little bit more. I in the winter you're just kind of like you're dead. You're not really moving anywhere. You're not really doing anything. And as it gets warmer, you start moving. You start kicking the dust up a little bit more. The dog starts creating a little bit more dander. Now I'm not allergic to the dog, but whenever the dog's hair sits for a while, I get allergic to it. What was I saying? Cognitive dissonance. But yeah, okay. I've kind of had that life where I was more open to it, more understanding about it. Um, because I've just had one of those lives. I know I've said this somewhere along the line that just weird things have happened to me that have changed my life. The deja vu dreams that I had as a kid that I still have to this day. I still will find myself in a place where I will stop, and even though I've never been in this place before, I will stop and look around and say, "Man, I've been here before." The deja vu dreams. That's what I call them. They're like these. They're these psychic flashes is what I would call them. So that automatically opens your brain up to the possibility that things are not exactly what they seem. And then just the experiences that I've had as a kid, um, the what are they called? The night paralysis stuff. The as a teenager starting to believe in aliens and extraterrestrials and actually seeing UFOs. Um, Seeing all this weird stuff, having friends there to verify it with me, things like that. Just all that stuff. And I don't believe in aliens anymore. I don't know if we haven't really gone on this discussion yet. Back in the '90s, you believed in aliens, X Files. X Files brought you into this idea that aliens were a thing. At the same time, X Files brought you into this idea that everything was a thing. I mean, the X Files went from aliens to Bigfoot to I could swear one of those had Satan in it. I'm not kidding, like a demon or something. It was the caricatured horned demon, with the tail and everything, which I still think is entirely possible. These people didn't just conjure this image up out of nowhere. But I don't think that's what the personification of Satan is or anything like that. But it opened your mind. It made you think about it. So I always had those kind of ideas that there's something more than just us. And for a while there, I had stopped thinking about it because I became part of the real world. And I kind of got to that point to where I was just going with the flow and started doing entertainment and started doing all the stuff you're not supposed to do and just kind of shut myself off. I just lost like 10 years of my life from like 2001, actually from like 2002 until like 2012. It was like I lost like 10 years. I know where they went and I know what I did in those years, but it's like, where did they go? They're gone. So it was like going into that and then coming back out of it, and then just like when I came out of it, my eyes were open. It's like I started seeing things, and I've talked about it before about YouTube opening my eyes to different things that have happened in the world, and then just slowly but surely being pulled into this spiritual awakening, which I claim to be a part of, which I am a part of. I mean, I can't claim to be a part of. I am a part of it. Uh, and it brings you to a point to where you start hearing more and more people talk about it. Now, I've I haven't really talked about it on this. I don't think I may have, but Andy and I had a talk about it the other day about all these people that are waking up. And there's been a lot of guys. There's a lot of people on YouTube that have been doing this for years. A lot of guys, they say like around 2014, they started getting their eyes open. There's some guys that talk about 2016. I feel like I'm behind the curve a lot. No pun intended on that stupid Beyond the Curve Netflix movie. But I feel like I'm behind, I'm trying to catch up to them is what it feels like, because they've known about it for a while. Some of these guys have been spiritually awakened for years, 20, 30 years, and they're talking about this kind of stuff that's opening everybody else's mind. And I'm just like, I had a belief of something, but I never followed it. I never wanted to follow it because I didn't think it was ever actually a thing, you know. But now it's like I'm whole hog into it. I'm there. I understand it. I see it. And it's the one thing the one thing I have wanted to do and I've tried to do is think of a way that I could tell other people to, say, "Hey, look, this is an eye-opening experience. This will show you everything." Just it's opened my eyes. I feel like a better person because of it. I have my slips. I'm not a perfect person at all. I have my slips, and I have my doubts some days, but then it gets turned around and I get my eyes reopened. Something else comes around and I'm like, there it is. That's the answer I was looking for, because it's just about asking for the answers and they will come. And I've been trying to figure out a way that I could tell other people. Now, one of the ways that I figured out was just sit down and just talk about it. Just say, "Hey, look, I'm just a normal dude. I'm not in this." I was accused of, well, I wasn't personally accused, but just the whole belief in the stuff we believe in, the flat earth and God and all that, this spiritual awakening is about making money. Okay, well, you can think that. That's cool. Uh, I can't make money off of YouTube. YouTube cracked down on that one a long time ago. Back whenever I was doing video game videos every day, and I made $1.76 before YouTube said, "Oh no, wait, you have to have." What was it at first? YouTube cracked down and said the first thing you had to do was you had to have like 10,000 subscribers or something, and I was like, or no, 10,000 views. That's what it was. 10,000 total views. You had to have 10,000 total views before you could be monetized. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm getting close. My total view count at that point was about 8,000, 7,000, something like that. So I said, slowly but surely we'll get there. So it starts building up and building up. And it was, what was it, like a week before the deadline, I hit the 10,000 view mark. And I said, rock on, man. We can start monetizing again. Even if it's only a couple cents, I don't care, whatever. And as soon as I hit 10,000, YouTube put it to where you had to have, what is it now? Is it like 1,000 subscribers, and you have to have such and such amounts of views per week? Something like that. I think it's like 300 views per week or something, and you have to have 1,000 or like 1,000 or 10,000 subscribers. I don't know what it was, in order to be monetized. Maybe it was 5,000 subscribers. I don't remember what it was. And I was like, great. I meet the first qualifications, and then they move the goalposts on me. Whatever. Now it's some ridiculous thing. I doubt I'll be able to. I'm not even worried about it at this point. I mean, if you watch it, you watch. If you don't, you don't. This is basically just me putting this stuff out there for anybody in the future that wants to see it, if we even have a future. For anybody that wants to see it, you can come check out some fat old dude playing video games. We're talking about flat earth and God and all this other kind of stuff. even the fact that I'm talking about this stuff is going to probably get me shadow banned, and then nobody will ever see it anyways. Somebody's watching them though. I watch a view count. Somebody's watching them. But it leads back to this. It leads back to the spiritual awakening thing, and we've we talked about this. I don't remember exactly what the conversation was about opening these people's minds or something. It was something we were watching watching some Rob Skiba video or something. I think I don't remember what it was, and it was afterwards we were talking about it. We were discussing it. Angie and I were discussing it, and discussing. Jeez, we were discussing it, and we were talking about that's how it's going. All these people are kind of waking up to it. They're understanding that it is what it is. There's a lot of people that aren't waking up to it because they don't want to wake up to it. That's perfectly fine. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that. I don't think that people should call you an idiot because you don't want to wake up to it. But it's like the hell. But she was like, what was that? I'm trying to remember exactly what it was because it was about a week ago. I haven't done one of these in like 2 weeks, so it's kind of hard to remember what the hell happened a week ago. But she had said something about, well, it's all these people being awakened. There's your 144,000. And, at the time, well, we just laughed about it because, the 144,000 are in the book of Revelation about those are God's chosen that are supposed to be lifted up, and they're supposed to go and be with him. They're supposed to be like the elite fighters for God, whenever the end comes or something like that. And I just kind of laughed about it because I didn't, I understand. There's supposed to be 144,000 chosen at the end. They're supposed to be like the 12 tribes of Israelites and all that. And I just kind of shook it off. But then, like a day later, I was watching a video of this kid. It was supposedly like his last video ever because he said, "Look, after this, I'm smashing a router and I'm smashing a modem and I'm smashing a computer because I'm done because that's it. From here on out, it's just gonna be me and the Bible and I'm going." And I was like, "Okay, I mean that's eventually what's going to have to happen. Sooner or later, is we're going to have to make a choice, or we're going to have to pull out of this system that has been created for us to be brainwashed. We're going to have to get out of the system." So, hold on one second.